What's going on, people, and welcome back to another player versus player. It's been a few months since I've done one of these, but I always like to do them and come back to them. So another one today. We've got Luis Figo versus David Beckham. Fan of both of these growing up, especially Beckham was one of my all-time favourites, and Figo was a class player too. So let's get into it. First up, we've got goals. I'm doing this on kind of who had the most memorable goals for me and like most important game-changing goals and moments. And for me, I think Beckham's goals stand out more in my head and like big pressure moments. So Beckham definitely gets the goals. Dribbling, I'd have to give that one to Figo. He definitely was technically better as a dribbler. Beckham could beat people, but he was more of a creator than a sort of old-fashioned winger in terms of like a Giggs was, where he could beat players with pace and trickery. So dribbling, Figo wasn't blessed with pace, but he had quick feet in small spaces and tight areas. So dribbling to Figo. Passing is a tough one, but because I feel like Figo is like brilliant at it, but you're not going to find much better passer of the ball than David Beckham. Whether it was an assist, a corner, or a through ball, the guy was on another level. So passing, I'd have to give to Beckham, but Figo definitely deserves his respect in that aspect. Technique, it depends on what you're looking on it as. Like for the dribbling, Figo obviously. First touch, I'd probably go Figo as well. But technique for things like the free kicks, it's got to be Beckham, and corners. But if we're looking at it as an overall picture, I probably would give technique to Figo. It was a little bit more cultural in that sense. Work rate off the ball, busting a gut to help his team, I'd have to give it to Beckham. I think he's one of the best and most underrated in that aspect of it. I feel like people look at him because he was like a superstar in the modelling and stuff off the pitch, that he was a bit of a prima donna and stuff. But I felt like every time I watched him when he played, he gave everything. And I'm not saying Figo didn't either, but I feel like Beckham was a different level with it. So work rate, I'd have to give to Beckham. Strength, I don't feel either of these players really stand out for this. They wasn't that type of player. I'd probably edge the strength to Beckham though, but there's not a lot in it with that one. I feel like he was just a little bit more stronger on the ball and a little bit more tenacious than Figo was. Tackling, again, difficult. I don't think there's a lot in it, but I'd probably give it to Beckham. I feel like, again, he wasn't as hesitant to put his foot into a tackle. So Beckham for tackling. Leadership's another tough one. Obviously, they both captained club teams in their countries, led in different ways, but I'd have to give it to Beckham again for leadership. I feel like he's the most underrated, one of the most underrated ever in his leadership qualities and skills and big high pressure moments and stuff. I'd have to give it to him again. So Beckham for leadership. Vision is a very tough one because like things like through balls and more intricate passes, maybe Figo, but across the field switches, long range balls, crosses, even through balls as well, I feel like Beckham was just a different caliber with it. So again, Beckham for vision. Teamwork, a lot of these categories is really close. I feel like both of these were excellent in their teamwork. Yeah, it's a tough one with that. I'm going to edge it to Beckham again, but it's tough. Trophies, both have won a lot in their careers. I've got Figo at like 31, which is a lot, which I didn't realise till I'd done this, that he'd won so much. And Beckham at about 20. So he's beaten by quite a bit in the ones that I've looked at for the trophies. So Figo gets the trophies. And career is, again, it's very tough. I feel like if you're doing it on trophies, Figo gets the career because he's won more. But I feel like Beckham needs to be in consideration as well with what he's won. Also, another thing that you could as well is Figo has won a Ballon d'Or, which Beckham didn't. Arguably should have won one at some point, Beckham, but he didn't actually achieve it. Career, it's hard for me to do this because I like him so much, but I think you have to give the career to Figo with what he won and the Ballon d'Or on top of it as well. So I'll give that to Figo for the career. So it finished. This is how crazy these videos are, is because I give the career as an overall to Figo, but the final results for this, including all the categories, I've got Figo finishing with 4 and Beckham finishing with 8. as how I see it, I try to not be biased with this. As I said, Beckham is one of my all-time favourites, but I have huge respect for Figo too, so I try and do this as fairly as possible. I've done it as honestly as I could as well. Beckham comes out on top, 8-4. Hope you enjoyed it, guys. Next one I'm going to be doing is Patrick Vieira versus Steven Gerrard. Hopefully I'll do that in the next week or so. Don't hold me to that, but I'll try and get it done soon. So yeah, look out for that as well in a bit.